I'm thinking about it. At this point, Samsung doesn't even need to try no more. And it's especially true when it comes to the Galaxy S25 series. Yo, what is good people? Ben from Lover of Tech, and welcome to my first impressions, early hands-on with the Galaxy S25 series, which consists of the S25 Ultra, S25 Plus, and S25. And if you're watching this video now, the embargo has dropped as of the 22nd of January, 2025, 6 p.m. GMT time. And I had the pleasure of actually having hands-on with the S25 series last week on the 15th for about an hour. So buckle up, because I'm gonna share my thoughts and the reason why I said at the beginning that Samsung doesn't even need to try anymore, because did they really put any effort into this one? And I mean, they did, but you know what, let's round it in and let's talk about it. Now, the main focus is gonna be the Galaxy S25 Ultra, of course, because it is Ultra, is the most popular one. There will be the honorable mention of the S25 Plus and S25, but altogether, let's focus mainly on the S25 Ultra. Let's get into it. Let's touch on the first point of call from that first statement about Samsung not needing to try no more. Battery life and charging. It's the same 5,000 milliamp hour battery that we've come to know and be used to since, I believe, the Galaxy S20 Ultra and that 45 watt super fast charging 2.0. Now, of course, it did go back down to 25 watts, I believe, for the S21 Ultra, then came back to 45 watts for S22 Ultra. But overall, it's the same battery experience that we've come to know and get used to. And don't get me wrong, it's impressive that they've still been able to put a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in there, and the S Pen is still in there, and the design of the phone is slimmed down, which I'm going to talk about later. But man, no increase in battery capacity here. And again, I will talk about the specs, but considering this is powered by the 8 Elite chipset for Galaxy, it's more powerful than the standard 8 Elite, as if that wasn't powerful already. Now, I'm worried, I'm not gonna lie, unless I get the phone in, which I should be getting in, so stay locked and subscribed, turn on notifications. I will be going into deep diving when it comes to testing for battery, charging, camera, performance, and all things related to it. Maybe it's gonna prove me wrong, but considering the competition are putting things like 5,400 milliamp hour, 5,500 milliamp hour, 600, 5,850, 5,910, 6,000 milliamp hour batteries with these newer generation chipsets and optimizing them, Samsung, I don't know how you're gonna do this. So let me just put it out there that this is an element in an area where I guess they just feel like they don't need to try. Now let me touch on one area that secretly is probably my favorite part of the S25 Ultra, but also kind of like the strangest, the design and build quality. And I've got to say, they pulled out some stops here. You can see that it's much more boxed in shape. It's still made out of titanium, and I believe that's still the frame, not the whole body. But you know, don't quote me on that. That might have changed, but I'll get more information on that. But the most important thing here is they've really slimmed it down. It's now as slim as 8.2 millimeters compared to 8.6 from before. And the weight's been reduced. It's like about 218 grams compared to the 232, 33 grams from before. So they've really made this so nice, slim, and just fits well balanced in the hand. Like most of us, when we picked it up, we were just shocked by it. So I'll be honest with you, in terms of craftsmanship and engineering and still being able to fit an S Pen in there, I've got to say, the redesign is really nice and I really like it, except for the colors. Like, yo, these colors are uninspiring. I mean, there's 4 standard colors and then there's the exclusive online colors. Like, let me just pick up my phone to even go through what the colors are, because I can't even remember them. You've got titanium silver blue, titanium white silver, titanium gray, titanium black. And I'll tell you this now, good luck telling between the 3 early ones that I just mentioned, because I'm telling you, at the hands-on, we were all struggling to tell the difference between them, especially with how the light was casting on them. And that's including the Samsung lock. So it tells you that the colors are weird. I mean, there's some online colors as well, which is titanium pink gold, titanium jet black, and then the titanium jade green. Again, they want their online exclusive. So we're gonna have to kind of wait until you can pre-order it and get that in. But apart from the colors, the redesign is really impressed me way more than I thought. I thought I wasn't really gonna feel it, but you know what? They've done a good job. kind of minus the colors. Now for the display experience, and just by the margin, Samsung have proven again that they are in a league of their own when it comes to the best smartphone display experience. Now, not by much, but it's now a 6.9-inch display for the S25 Ultra compared to 6.8 from before. And again, we've come to know and love, it is a Quad HD 1440p display, refresh rate of 1 to 120 Hz for LTPO, and the brightness does go up to 2600 nits. But one thing they did state is that there is now a new Pro Scaler technology built in. Now, this is meant to be an upscaling technology where it can take lower resolution images and upscale it to the maximum resolution of the display. Now, it almost sounds like a AI-based upscaling tech like what you see with DLSS or FSR, but I don't know how really that's going to be implemented in just watching videos or gaming, but we'll have to wait and see. But they've called it Pro Scaler, it's in there. So I love new features like this, can't complain. Again, S Pen support is there. But the most underrated feature from last year just got better, Gorilla Glass Armor 2. Now, I'm telling you this now, when it comes to glare management, that armor glass made such a difference, and I feel like Samsung didn't make enough noise about it. It was such a hidden gem. Now there's a second generation. Now I don't know how it's going to manage glare better, but again, it's much more of a strength improvement. I can't remember the stats, but again, when we get to the full review, I will follow this all up, and of course in our uncut review there will be fully all the information in there. But for now, yeah, we've got Armor Glass 2, and Samsung are in bed with Corning because this kind of exclusivity is nice and I'm here for it. Now for the camera, and you know this is the home of the definitive camera comparison, so make sure you're locked in, liked, subscribed, and turn the notifications because I'm going to be going all in deep diving for how the camera performs on the S25 Ultra. Now, what have they done? A next generation Pro Visual Engine, marketing out the way. What's actually new? The ultra wide. It's now a larger 50 megapixel ultra wide. Finally, we are getting closer to all the lenses being high resolution. Of course, the main wide sensor is still 200 megapixels. And then you've got the ultra wide, which is the newer one at 50 megapixels. And you've got 50 megapixels on a 5X that we came to know from last year, slightly tweaked apparently. But the odd one is still there. The 3X, the mid-range zoom. It's still 10 megapixels. Samsung. I don't know whether you're doing this on a lens by lens cases, so there's something to talk about for each new model. S26 Ultra next year, let's get rid of that 3X. It shouldn't be 10 megapixels. It needs to be 50 megapixels. It needs to be larger. Then it completes it. And in fact, I've always said it. Honestly, that main 1X wide shouldn't be 200 megapixels. 50 megapixels is more than enough resolution to do 8K properly and high resolution, and then just build up, make the sensors better in terms of dynamic range, image quality, and also speed to get them up to things like 8K 60 when there's the ability to do that and everything that comes with it. But I'm happy to see the high resolution, and what they said is that the macro capabilities have improved and it doesn't lose resolution when you go into macro mode, and you can get full resolution as well as obviously with the pixel binning. So can't wait to test it, of course, so stay tuned for that. I've got a special one lined up. Selfies the same, 12 megapixels. Again, I wish we would go back to high resolution with a slightly wider sensor, but again, it's what we're working with there. Now, when it comes to the image pipeline, they've done a lot of things here that I really like to see. They've added a log profile. So for pro video users, when you go into the pro mode, you are able to actually shoot in log. Now, I don't know if Samsung have like an official lookup table or LUT for it to convert to, like, let's just say Rec 709. Again, Pro Talk here. But it is good to see that you've got a log profile, and that's something you can match up. And you've got the voice isolation feature that's there. And again, this is kind of following suit from what we've been seeing from other competitors like Apple and Google. So it's good to see that they're doing this. I can't wait to test all of these things. The zoom has improved in terms of the smoothness of the transition of the lenses. There's a zoom slider there that just makes it much easier and smoother. Things are looking very promising overall. And again, for how many camera comparisons I did with the S24 Ultra, no joke, it was still the benchmark from the beginning to the end of 2024. So it's gonna hold up really well, but the competition this time around, it's gonna heat up. Overall, the camera improvement is great. I just need them to get rid of that 3x 10 megapixels and we're good, improve the selfie. But let's wait and test it to see how things are with the new camera system. Now for the specs and the performance, and the Galaxy S25 Ultra is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite. And not just any 8 Elite, this is the 8 Elite 4 Galaxy chipset. Yes, 4 Galaxy chipset. Third generation in a row, Samsung are getting special treatment from Qualcomm with a much better version of the 8 Elite. And this is meant to be more powerful, but without sacrificing when it comes to efficiency. Again, I'll be the judge and test of that, considering the battery is still 5,000 milliamps. Now, when we get to the RAM, it is still 12 gigabytes. It does use LPDDR5X, but there is no 16 gigabytes of RAM option. I think this is a missed opportunity. Again, storage is 256, 512, and 1 terabyte UFS 4.0. But there should have been 16 gigabytes of RAM, at least from the 512 gig upwards, because all the AI that is running, it's just gonna need it. And we've seen it with the other devices. And One UI 7 is heavy, so just take that into consideration. But yeah, that is the specs and performance. Again, we can't test in these hands-on. Let me get it in. We'll do the testing when it comes to our speed test, our performance testing, battery efficiency, and all of that things that come together. We'll see how it looks. Last but not the least is software. And honestly, on this channel, I don't really cover software all that deep. But one thing I will say is that this is One UI 7 with Android 15. And the thing I noticed about the software is the battery information section. Finally, there's a full suite of information that tells you everything you need to know about your battery, from battery health, how many charge cycles, when it was manufactured and first used. And someone like me that does a lot of battery drain tests and get a lot of headache from the audience about, is your Galaxy S25 Ultra this new? What's the battery health? What's it? Finally, Samsung, thank you for giving us this information just like the competition does, so it can be fully transparent to your user what's the status of your battery health as we're going through. So I really like to see this. They talked a lot about different AI features, of course, but honestly, they glanced over it so quick, and within that hour, we barely had any time to really test it to see if it was working in any real way. So I'll wait for it to come in and be the judge of that. But honestly, software is not really my thing on this channel, so I glance over it and say my parts. Does it feel fast? Of course it does, but it's not fully set up to how I would use it. And fluidity-wise, One UI 7 is kind of okay. It's not really like the best of the best. Maybe they've improved it now with the new chipset. We will have to wait and see, but that's just the software overall for me right now. Honorable quick mention for the S25 Plus and S25, because this is a case of, yeah, same, but different. Same because this feels familiar to the S24 Plus and S24, but it's different in the more predictable ways. I mean, the display sizes are still the same, 6.7 inches, 6.2 inches, QHD display on the Plus model, then you've got the normal FHD on the non-Plus model, then you've got the new Pro Scaler tech, and you've got the high brightness at 2600 nits, which is great to see, 120 hertz across the board. You do have the Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset for Galaxy in both. And of course, you do have 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is great to see. So 12 gigabytes of RAM all the way through up onto the Ultra. Now, everything there is pretty much the same. I mean, you've got higher storage models on the Plus, and then you've got the storage models available on the normal one as well. Battery's the same, 4900 milliamps on the Plus with 45 watt wired charging. And then you've obviously got, 4,000 milliamp hour battery, 25 watt charging. So look, it's pretty much the same. Now, what's good is in terms of the physical build, they've slimmed it down, which is really great to see. So like 7.3 millimeters, 7.2 millimeters. So it's good to see. And I mean, things pretty much feel the same. The camera system and hardware is the same as what we saw from before. But what I'm glad to see is now that they are all Snapdragon powered, all regions, last year we got Exynos, and that was something that was just such a pain point. When it comes to lens switching in 4K 60, they locked it out on the S24 Plus and S24. Now for the S25 and S25 Plus, you can switch between the lenses without having to stop recording in 4K 60. You could do it in 4K 30, they've done it and fixed it now. So I'm really glad to see this from Samsung, which is great to see. So one of my usability pain points is pretty much fixed. Now you get the log recording and all the features that come with the Ultra in that sense, but the camera hardware itself, it's the same. Nothing's really changed. So if I've missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. Once I get my review units in, I'm going to be following up intensive deep dive testing, full reviews, and everything that follows. But I mean, from the tone of this, everything I've told you, am I wrong in saying that Samsung feels like they pretty much do not need to try no more? Yeah, and I kind of don't blame them. Midway into the 20s decade, this is what we have for the S25 series. Are you impressed? Were you expecting more? What's your thoughts? Well, that's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS to Tech Lover Squad so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.